The quarantine period is like a new lease on life. I'm like turning the negative into a positive. I've used this COVID period to think about the scholarship fund, then to fundraise $1 million towards it before announcing it. My parents are from Ghana in West Africa. They came here, for better opportunity for their kids. And, with that, my dad thought that, hey, I want a son that's an engineer. He's like, I want to, like, your career has been decided for you. And that's how I started my career. I started University of Wisconsin-Madison as an engineer. I was like, if I pay respect to practical education, but I foster my creativity and my love for pop culture, my love for fashion, music, DJing, I was like, I will be complete as a whole. For me as a Black kid from, immigrant parent, my fashion career started when I was like 10. My mom's a seamstress since she was 6 years old. And, I grew up in her sewing room. I didn't know that that was like a fashion place. I just knew that's where my mom worked. I would say my formal start is when I'm from Chicago. I went to a screen printer with a file on a USB stick. And I said, can you make this screen printed t-shirt? That literally changed my life. And I basically had to tell my parents that I'm an engineer, but, this t-shirt that I made is more important because, I feel like I made magic. I started off 10 years ago before streetwear was a term. People were like, you're not a fashion designer, you make t-shirts. But I was like, man, there's something about these t-shirts and sneakers that is something I love because I grew up with that. But if I put that on a Paris runway next to a dress, listening to jazz music instead of the hip hop music you might have thought I was going to put, like tells my story as a 17-year-old. Now there's like different layers of mixing. This road is no one, but it wasn't popular to put jeans, t-shirts on a runway. But that road less traveled gave me an identity. I started a brand that I owned, and that became my resume. So I own, it's not just a seat at the table or being able to sort of participate and be at the end of a runway show. It's like, no, this is owned by me. And other Black designers need to own their businesses. That's what I love about our partnership with the Fashion Scholarship Fund is we're not focusing on just, hey, opportunity. It's like mentoring, ownership, how to develop and trademark your identity so that you own it for your generational self, not just your personal self. If there's anything you take away from me and my career to your own story, don't let anyone put you in any box. It allows a conversation to happen without you even speaking. I don't see any box. That's my freedom. And off-white was just a shorthand phrase for me to always remember that. Like, I don't have to be polarizing. I don't have to be Black or white. It's the shades in between. What we're asking the world to do is like open their eyes to systemic racism in a real way. What we want people to do is change. We want people to be better. So I named my label Off-White as like my own measure. It's like my own ruler. It's okay to have two answers to a singular question. It's okay to be in between. At that moment that it got announced, it was like shock. Like they hired a Black guy to head like Louis Vuitton. The punchline is how humbled I was like that ray of sunshine in like a storm to be like, it's possible. Like for all Black designers to feel like this Fashion Scholarship Fund that we're creating all together, people from all different races and creeds. This Fashion Scholarship Fund is taking a piece of how magical, humble that moment was for me and giving that out to each one in our community. Because it was like the moment of belief that, trust me, I was like, there's no way they're gonna hire me. In confidence to the people in this room, if I was starting my career and I was like applying to luxury fashion houses, the first sentence in my portfolio would be like, I will make your company like modern because I'm sure that I'm bringing a different perspective than you already have. Like what person on earth is like, wait, am I missing out on something? Like, tell me, like that's a hook because they want to move, they want to be modern. They don't want to be irrelevant. If there's more of me at different fashion houses, we prove that sentence. I want to give out as many scholarships, but my literal impetus was like, it's a little bit deep, right? But the world works on this, like, hey, what school did you go to? All of a sudden, like, the interview gets easier versus other. And I just hope that we get to a point with our partnership that like that means something on a resume, just the same way as like someone who has like Harvard or a law degree from Stanford. Like the interview just gets shorter and you get the job like right away. I don't look at my achievement as the height of my achievement isn't LV. The height of my achievement is the scholarship fund.